Lisa Hayward, and I'd like to welcome you to Callers Chat, an online space that I've created for callers to chat about all things calling. So today I'm delighted to welcome Jo Harmer to our stage. Jo has been step dancing for over 40 years, and more recently she's been focusing on the informal, improvised stepping styles that used to be widespread across the southern counties of England. I'm really excited about what Jo has to say about getting started with informal social stepping, particularly because today's talk has a practical element, so be prepared to get on your feet. Without further ado, I'll hand over to Jo.
Thank you, Lisa, and welcome everybody. As Lisa said, I'm Jo. I'm a retired music teacher. I've been step dancing for 40 odd years. With Kath.
Not for the 40 years.
No. I'm a director of FolkActive, which is a CIC Kath and I set up together back in 2013, I think. I'm best described now as an occasional rather than a regular caller. And thrilled that Kath could be here because I wasn't getting on with the technology. You would have had me diddling this evening if Kath hadn't been here to provide the music, which is fab. Kath's also a lovely stepper. The cunning plot tonight is to encourage you to be up on your feet and take you through what you need to get started. I want you to release your inner step dancer and enable you to encourage and perhaps begin using some stepping during your calling. And we'll also talk through the way that Kath and I, Kath with Jigfoot, her ceilidh band, use stepping in sessions and ceilidhs and well-being dances, etc. So, and a quick talk through what informal social stepping is. It's basically heel and toe, improvised footwork. I mean, it's the basic human response to tap your feet to a really good tune and that makes you want to get up and dance. So I'm not talking performance, complicated sequence stepping in any way, shape or form. This is something you can't get wrong. So it's all about demystifying, taking anxiety about doing things with your feet. A bit like dance like nobody's watching. And it would have been everywhere, in kitchens, in pubs, country fairs, fell out of the mainstream culture across the 20th century with social change, but some communities continued to value it, and we've been really fortunate to have danced alongside a couple of women from Romany backgrounds since about 2010. We met their Sussex, from settled Sussex families now, Valerie Shipley, Janet Keat Black, and Janet's family travelled across Hampshire, which is where we are. I didn't say that, we're in the heart of Hampshire, and so we know that what they're doing with their feet gives us a really valid picture of what might have been happening in the past. But you're going to end up dancing like the person you are. So let's get started. I think I'll show you a little bit of polka first. That's the rhythm we're going to start with. Standing up yet? Is everybody up on their feet? Or sitting down but moving as if they're on their feet? And what I want you to do, first of all, I'm just going to ask you to walk on the spot. So when I'm starting people off, I often say, if you can walk, you can do this. If you can't stand up, do it sitting down, but it's not so much fun. So we're going to walk on the spot, keeping in time with the music. Now you might have spotted a bit of punctuation at the end there, a bit like the end of a sentence. So you're encouraging people to feel the music and show that they know when a piece of music has come to an end, but start again straight away. So we'll just do that once more and then we'll add something else. Fabulous. Really important that to get people feeling that they're moving on the beat and then starting again with a downbeat. What we're going to do now is add just a heel in between those steps. Here we come and stop. Start again. Add the heel. Fabulous. You could at that point be putting a toe instead of a heel. I've said this is heel and toe stepping, so you could, instead of the heel, be choosing to bounce your toe just like this. Play with it. Sometimes heels, toes, heel, toe. So far we have walking on the beat, we've added a heel. You could use your toe instead, and you can choose what you do when, whether it's a heel or a toe. And I'm just going to give you a tiny bit more information before you unleash yourselves. So we've been using slow heels. In a minute I'm going to say put this at double speed as if you're jogging. So if you're doing slow, I want you to lift yourself as if you're jogging on the spot. How's that going? Should we try that in with the music? Well, we'll start just walking on the beat. Slow heels, double speed and stop. Walk, add a heel or a toe, double speed. Double, walk, so far so good. So you've got a little sequence there just for your own peace of mind to know how you could work through But the joy comes when you start to be playful with those elements. This is where you show yourself that you might be able to find something in a tune that says to you, I want the double speed now, I could walk there, I might want to hop. You might be somebody that hits their feet. You might be... What we're trying to say is there is no wrong, but you've got a little bit of a skeleton there to show you 3 elements that you can start to play with. So, and time-wise, I think what I want to do is give you an idea of how you could possibly just slot what you've got so far into one of the basic ceilidh dances, social dances that you might already use. So we used Galopy, didn't we, Kath, last time at one of our sessions. So if you think about what the figures you've got, if you could play it, Kath. And back. We're changing sides. Forwards. And back. So that's your first 2 A music figures. Now you've got a really long swing coming next at one of the dances that we run together, which is an active aging dance. A lot of the people that come find swinging really makes them dizzy. You could suggest that they step on the spot rather than swing, and then that swing is followed by down the middle for the top couple. Well, you could be hanging around for ages if you didn't use the music, but what you could be doing is use your polka stepping through the whole of the B section. So should we just have a go there, Kath?
B section or with the A?
B.
B.
Do you get the idea? So basically we're giving people a small amount of music, a small amount of information to play with, and hoping that they might choose to put stepping in there. So I think just a little bit of information now about what we've been using. We're based, as I said, in Hampshire. I've already said there's a Romany connection with what we've been doing, and 100 and odd years ago, a collector who lived in the Southampton and New Forest area collected tunes and noted down vague descriptions of dances and wrote about the families she was living alongside, and she said they stepped through these dances. Now we know from having met the Romany women we've been dancing alongside what this might have looked like. So we feel that we can offer these really simple couple dances that we've reconstructed from the descriptions, and we use them in our pub sessions and in several of the dances. There's a monthly dance club, an active ageing one, and also ceilidhs. And the one I'd like you to look at now, if you can put the link in the chat to look at in a moment, is something called the country jig. And I'm going to ask Kath to play a jig, and we'll get moving in a different rhythm, and then we will just look at dead simple elements that can get people jigging, and it's such a joy to be able to dance to English jigs. It's wonderful. So if we could have 7 stars, I think.
Yeah.
And what you're going to use through this as your default is a basic pas de bar, just from side to side. Now, that's probably enough, just getting people feeling dancey with a pas de bar that's going to keep going for most of this dance. That's the default rhythm, and these are the figures. First of all, there's a setting figure, which I usually say jump and kick. So jump and kick, jump and kick, jump and kick, jump and kick. So if we have that with the music, jump and kick, jump and kick, jump and kick. Lovely. Now I should have said it's a couple dance. So there's somebody there in front of me, 2 hands. We're going to use pas de bar steps and go round each other for a 2-hand turn. A do-si-do with that person still using pas de bars. And this is where we say rattle your feet. And you would be amazed how many people find themselves shuffling or perhaps playing around with the pas de bars. You've got a short 4-bar phrase to shuffle your feet, rattle your feet. So can we just do all of that quickly? So starting with the jump and kick. Jump and kick, jump and kick. 2-hand turn. Do-si-do. Rattle your feet. Second half, you're going to progress with your partner,
Side by side.
side by side with your partner, so you can hold one hand. You've got 4 pas de bars forwards. Face your partner and rattle. Go back. Best bit, it's not rattle your feet again. Clap your hands above your head and turn on the spot. Start again. Jump and kick. 2-hand turn. Do-si-do. Rattle. Rattle. That's enough of that. And I just quickly say, because I think we're probably have had enough information so far, the women we learnt alongside, I wouldn't say they taught us, they shared, they gave us their time. They say, what are you doing? They didn't learn, they caught what they do when they step, which they say is it's nothing, it's just stepping. But they were in a situation where they could absorb it. We've needed to create situations where people absorb the stepping. But if you leave people to their own devices, like saying rattle your feet, it's like children. If they think there's not a problem, if they do something wrong, they'll go for it. So I think that's probably enough information for now. And we'll talk a bit more later on about situations where we might use it. One thing I ought to say as well, I've got a little quote about Charles Dickens when I'm saying that use the music, which is often amazing. As callers, you're alongside fabulous musicians. This is a quote from Charles Dickens's daughter, who says, his dancing was at its best in the Sir Roger de Coverley and in what are known as country dances. In the former, while the end couples are dancing, side couples are supposed to be still. My father would insist upon the side step, and clapping his hands to add to the fun, he'd be dancing at the backs of those whose enthusiasm he thought needed rousing. He was himself never still for a moment until the dance was over. So what we're hoping to give people is enough information to keep doing what Charles Dickens would have liked them to do. So thank you, Lisa, for having us. Thank you, Kath, for playing. And there we go. That's the end.